Students return back for us to do what we love to do best. We're hoping that all arrangements being put in place to make sure the council is reconstituted, vice chancellor restored, all of it would work accordingly, according to the timetable, so that university, as I've already indicated, will come back to normal life so that we can all go back and do what we have to do.
For the government, its decision to suspend the council of the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology is expedient because the management failed to contain what was otherwise an internal security matter. UTAC says it supports this decision and that it is going to restore its services as soon as possible. However, privileged information available to City News is that the Vice Chancellor of the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology will be restored on Friday. Reporting from the Ministry of Education, for City News, I am Caleb Kuda.
So that was Caleb Kuda's report. If you're watching, you have something to say, send us a comment on the WhatsApp number we'll put on the screen or on Facebook. So, Honorable Dr. Edu, good to have you again on City. Your ministry is busy because a month or so ago we're doing double track and you were the hottest commodity. We thought we had finished and look at the number of news items.
The ministry is exciting.
Serious?
Seriously exciting. And congratulations on your grades. When I was reading about you, saw you on TV. And,
thank you.
I didn't know I was going to be in front of you the next day. So it's an honor. As you were reading about how KNUST was making news, I was also writing down some news that I wanted KNUST to make.
Okay.
For example, the fastest computer invented at KNUST, October 29th. Then you talk about breakthrough in cancer research, October 30th. Then we talk about a new car rolled out.
October 30th, that's tomorrow.
No, yeah. So I'm talking about what I want to hear.
Okay.
What I want to hear.
Okay.
What I want to hear. New car rolled out at KNUST assembly plant. Talk about KNUST construct the most inexpensive building. The first KNUST helicopter flown to Kenya. This is the kind of news you want to hear.
Not unrest.
No, it's a distraction. As alumnus of KNUST, I was distraught when I saw the events unfolding. I was in Republic Hall, which was one of the first to be converted to a mixed hall.
Oh, it was initially an all-male hall?
Of course. When I was there, it was all-male. Oh, wow. Yeah, but the young men wanted a woman there, so there was no fight. So I don't have to walk all the way to Africa Hall. So there was no fight.
Same as Legon Hall.
Yeah, it worked out, no fight. It worked out very well.
Interesting.
All that I'm saying is that this is a great institution. Of course, that's why I went. So I would say the greatest institution, not the what they call the premier university in Ghana. Well, universities are focused on STEM, science, technology, engineering, mathematics. That is the cutting edge of innovation in the world. So when all these things happen, of course, there's a sense of urgency. And America, they call something Monday quarterback, and after the football games is over on Sunday, Monday, everybody say, we could have done it that way, it should have been that way. So I know my friends sitting to my right, the lawyers are going to talk about all the things we could have done right. But there was a sense of urgency.
Okay.
The normalcy was our preoccupation. We couldn't allow an institution like this to degenerate into a hotbed of confusion and anarchy. So some steps were taken. And the whole focus is KNUST should come back to normalcy. Interestingly, probably it's the first time the minister is also from tech.
Napo?
Yeah. So we have 2 out of the 4 ministers at the ministry from KNUST. And of course...
So the local knowledge of tech terrain helped in resolving the matter?
Very interesting. When Napo was a local NUCS president, well, there was assistant secretary for SRC, and we were around the
same time. So you were there at the same time?
Oh yeah, when the Luther days.
So you also did a Luther?
Of course, but not a single Luther was broken. Of course, but our Luther was when you walk into KGTR, you find a way. All of us don't come by car. We find ways to walk through Amnaga, and we all walk all the way to KGTR, and by the time the people of Kumasi knows, we do that during the dawn. Wow. Every morning we are all in the center of KGTR. The place has masked up, and we are singing and dancing. Go straight to regional ministers residence and then present him a petition and come back.
You didn't smash cars. You didn't do anything.
The trouble we got into was when we got back to Tech and we broke the road distributing flyers, and then the police came, drove us out, shuttered the university in the afternoon, and off we went home. But
so during your time, university was shut as well?
Of course.
For how long?
Oh, our time, we went home, I remember our time for about 2 months, and I think at the coffee. This 1986.
1986.
When Fico went and apologized on our behalf after the Luther, we impeached him.
Yes, are you his mate? 1986?
No. I got to Legon in 87, the next year. So we were all Luther babies. Because we had a Luther in our time.
What about you?
I never led at a Luther, even though I was a student leader.
What year were you in the university?
From 2003 to 2009, because my program was 6 years.
Which university?
University of Cape Coast.
Oh, so we have Legon, Tech, and Cape Coast. But have the matters been resolved? Because watching that report Caleb filed, it appears things have normalized.
Okay, this is where we are at this point. I think my brother also collaborates. That there are a series of steps. We want the next steps of the process to be carried out by the chancellor.
Okay.
As we have rightly been, or sometimes wrongly been accused of not being hands-on enough, and at a point you say you are too much in the thick of things and you better back out. So we found a level. The level is that the chancellor of the university should facilitate all the steps going forward. The benchmark was the speedy return of students and the reconstitution of the council and all those kind of issues to ensure that everything come back to normal. But at this point, I think as the UTAC said, and we also met with NUCS and we are meeting with SRC and other stakeholders, GAWA and who they've all been invited, we're going to be meeting with them. We just want to make sure that we appeal to them to join the effort at bringing normalcy to the campus and in the process find the root causes and let's group.
So you're hopeful that by November 8 school reopens?
Yes.
This is a week and a half. UTAC, what were your concerns?
Yeah, I think that our concerns were basically the processes leading to the dissolution of the existing council and then the setting up of the IMC, which we felt the level of consultations that led to the membership of the IMC was really not exhaustive enough. Be it as it may, we've overcome that. And I think some concessions were made that the union should bring a representation and all that. Local branch felt, and of course it was a position the national office also supported, that one, we were even not going to recognize the IMC in the first place because we felt really the existing council could manage this if they had been allowed, given that at least the chance to have their meeting, which was scheduled for Friday.
So you didn't agree with government that the council should be blamed for the internal
well, of course,
problem.
Once that the council is the highest decision-making body, that is governing, of course, they could be blamed. But at least we expected that they would be given the opportunity, because you see, the statutes allowed the council to also do an introspection, so that then they can find a root cause, at least set up. But government felt otherwise, and that is why we felt that in constituting the IMC, getting even the vice chancellor not being part of it and all the hula value, and so those were the objections we raised. And of course, I think that this afternoon's meeting, just as the minister indicated, we all came to a certain consensus that there was the need to get things amicably resolved. And I think that the essence was that we really want students to come back, because it doesn't help our cause. Lecturers being at home, students being at home, academic calendar distracted. I mean, it doesn't help
nobody
anybody.
Benefits.
Because again, we are talking about educational tourism. We have international students around. We have people looking up to us. And we really don't want to do this. It's a kind of a backward thing. And so we felt that given all the concessions, there was a need for the council to be reconstituted as early as possible, so that we don't have a...
So is it a reconstitution of the old council? No, sorry, is it reinstatement of the old council or reconstitution of a new council?
Well, from our point of view and from the discussions we've had, I think we have some and the minister is here, probably he could highlight that. But our understanding is that government probably may replace its nominees on the council. May replace. For the unions, it's really difficult because we have elected people for a certain tenure.
So that can't change. And
so within this short period, we have people who are occupying, who are on council because they are representing those of professorial rank.
I get it.
They've already held elections, nominated who they think should. Within this short period, you can't ask them to go back and have elections and replace them. Good. So that is left to the unions and the reps to bring those people back. So in reality, what is going to happen is that government probably is going to do a little bit of reshuffle. And then
so a blend. Can you clarify?
I don't think that was the understanding was that the union's appeal was made to them, and that's why we want to leave the next steps to the Utumfo. That the next steps should be left to them, because the concern that everybody has is this council capable of redeeming itself? And if they are not capable, wouldn't it be wise for all of us to do introspection and say that we'd rather have new people nominated to the council? It doesn't take away from the fact that the various organs are being represented, or institutions are being represented, or groups are being represented. But that aspect of it falls back to the chancellor, so I'm not going to comment further on it.
So, so in your understanding,
I don't want to preempt.
The appointing bodies for the various segments of the council will still maintain their role, but that they would replace the people on the council.
Given what has happened, because these are, I mean, as we said about Luther, we're all laughing. We've never seen anything like this. I could not imagine a campus guard putting his hand on the student during our days. I mean, it was something nobody will ever even contemplate. That never happened before. I mean, there was that mutual respect. You see them, you respect them, they respect you. Never saw anything like that. So something has gone wrong. Something has gone wrong. And that's something that has gone wrong. We need to find out. Is it because now you don't have residential halls and they're off campus and there's a breakdown based on everything? Is there a breakdown of law and order and safety issues on campus? And what do we do to make sure that when parents send their children to school, they don't have to worry about it?
So let me just get some clarity. So since you guys will still have your members, what if you vote the same members?
Yeah,
would that be a problem for you?
You see,
because they have reps and they have their method of choosing their rep.
At this point, what has been agreed upon is that the chancellor of the university takes over.
But whatever he does must be according to law.
Yes.
Yes. Which is why I brought this lawyer sitting quietly.
But the bottom line is very simple. The law is the law, but we make decisions that can be in compliance with the law.
Which is why I'm asking him to clarify how they intend to go. No problem.
So we want to leave, on our part, we want to leave the process to the chancellor. Going forward.
You see, we had a long debate on this, and I don't think we're going to go back to this debate, which in the course of the meeting led to, some caucuses being held and all that.
Wow.
I don't think that we want to go, do that debate on air. What we have agreed, like he said, we need to consult with the chancellor and all that, but the details of those, the representatives on those councils, which are coming for professorial, for the unions and all that, that is the prerogative of the unions. They would consult the chancellor, of course, but it is the prerogative of the unions to do that.
So they will decide. So Ace, Occupy Ghana wrote some very serious statements I saw this morning that the NCT and the government did not have any right or legal basis to even dissolve council.
Well, I'm glad y'all started with Monday morning quarterbacking. That's the day after. But when you join the game in the middle, that can't be Monday morning quarterbacking at all. Yes, but seeing how things have evolved, I think that we've kind of gone beyond the legal jostling. I hope so.
Okay.
But there are legal problems to resolve. That if we don't resolve, they will come back to bite us 2 years down the line.
Okay.
And Bernard, one of the fundamental problems, and y'all confirm, is that we do not have a single document that we can call the national policy on tertiary education.
Really?
It's It's in various documents. They're working hard to put it together.
Okay.
And so if we had a policy, it would have the basic building blocks.
Okay.
Then we can, they are anchored on some blocks. Then we gear them towards each university and the little tweaking that we need for that university based on it. We don't have that. What we have are a series of laws passed over a period. And based on the history, which part of history we are in, some changes are made.
Wow.
That is the fundamental problem that we have.
Wow.
And if we address just the symptoms, but we don't go back to the basics, we'll be in a lot of trouble. And I don't know how much time I have, but I can take you through a bit of it.
Yes.
In 1998, heading all the way to about 2006, Ghana appointed the Statute Law Revision Commissioner to review all of our laws, to bring them in line with the Constitution. It barred him, Justice Crabb, VCRC Crabb of recent blessed memory. We barred him from effecting amendments, but he was to bring the laws in line with the Constitution and do other consolidations and cleanups. He did the work all the way to about 2006. The law said that when he finished the work, the bound volumes will be presented to Parliament. And if Parliament passed an act, if Parliament passed a resolution adopting the bound volumes, those bound volumes become Ghana law. And so when Justice Crabb said, he did all of this work. Clearly, and the Supreme Court has held, that Parliament did a tardy job in reviewing the work that Justice Crabb did. The case of Kwebu versus Attorney General, number 3, did a tardy job, but still held that whether we like it or not, those 7 bound volumes constitute Ghana law. And if anybody wants a change, Parliament has to make the change. One of the things that Justice Crabb touched was on who appoints the council of the universities.
Okay.
Now, Justice Crabb clearly based his position on Article 68, which said that the president can no longer be the chancellor of a university in Ghana.
Okay.
He appears to have interpreted that to mean that the power of the government to appoint to the governing councils should be removed. And so in the 4 universities that were in existence at the time he was doing his work, University of Ghana, of course that's a premier university, KNUST, who have to be given Kwame Nkrumah's identity to have identity. I joke with them that they never produce the president, and they say that's why Ghana is where it is at. KNUST, UCC, and UDS. And so if you look at the laws of those institutions, the president is no longer the chancellor, and the president does not appoint the council. In some instances, the president appoints the chancellor.
Yeah.
In other instances, it's the council that appoints the chancellor. So even in his amendments, there was no uniformity simply because we don't have a basic policy document that he could refer to.
Wow.
So we have a checkered situation where for UDS, UCC, Legon, okay, I'll come back to Legon and KNUST, the power of the president to appoint the council was removed. But it also left, in some of the instances, it was a bit ridiculous. For example, I believe in UDS, the committees for the defense of the revolution were supposed to have a representative.
Or even on tech.
Yeah, he removed that. But in tech, he didn't remove it.
So the CDR is
So the CDR is still there. It's supposed to be there.
Is he there?
They're supposed to bring their rep.
They're supposed to bring a
Decades.
Yeah, the committees for the defense of the revolution. No,
Wow.
I'm telling you.
Wow.
Bernard, those words sometimes I'm usually getting out of my mind.
Wow.
So when we write some of these things, it's out of the frustration of seeing what is there, in respect of which nothing is being done. Now what happened? After Justice Crabb did his work, suddenly government realized that they did not agree with him completely.
And these subsequent governments?
So, yeah, clearly after 2006. What government did then was to first amend the University of Ghana Act to give the president the power to appoint council again.
Great.
But when they did that, they left out KNUST.
Why?
Yeah.
They left out UCC. They left out UDS.
Yes.
Now the KNUST one is even funnier because when they removed appointed by the PNDC from the opening clause, they still left in 3 other people appointed by whom?
So which parliament did this?
So
there's a big confusion.
There is a big confused issue. But what Parliament did, and it didn't go more confusing. When Parliament was passing the UMAT Act, they didn't make the president appointing authority. They made the president the appointer of the chairman of council and left out the rest. for the institutional representation.
It's so confused.
But when they got to UEW, they made the president appointing authority. Meanwhile, the UEW Act 672 came before the UMAT Act. So we have been confused. But definitely after the UMAT Act, on UENR and all the new universities, UPS and everybody, it's been stated clearly that the president is the appointing authority of the council. So definitely in the case of KNUST, there appears to be a void. But the practice has been that although the law and although Justice Craft meant to take away the president of the government to appoint, and actually did it, the reality of the practice has been that the government appoints, and so although the representatives come in, they've been treated as a kind of nomination for the president appointed.
To endorse in a way.
But where the law says the person should be nominated, the law uses the word nomination. So what happens when the law doesn't say the person is nominated by saying that the council shall be constituted by a rep? So who then becomes the constituting authority? Is it the election of the institutions or bodies like UTAC, or is it a subsequent appointment by the president? If the president has the power, doesn't have the power of appointment, his appointment will be superfluous.
That's a lot of legal labyrinths to mine through. I'll allow that to settle. Take a short break, come back and let you land. Then I'm going to ask government what they're going to do to resolve this. And also what the roadmap will be after Otumfo, what next? This is the point of view. We're live on CCTV. We have your messages. We'll read as well. Don't go away.
City TV is live. City TV is a free-to-air digital channel. On a digital TV, please press menu on your remote control and run a news search on your TV. Take note that without an antenna, you cannot access City TV on your television. City TV can be accessed on a multi-TV digibox. Tune into City TV and experience your world. City TV, it's your world.
Hear that? AC just received money straight into her mobile money wallet from her mother in the US. Yes, so now you can receive money from abroad directly into any mobile money wallet in just minutes. All your loved one needs is your name, address, and phone number. They can send online at MoneyGram.com or by visiting a MoneyGram location. MoneyGram, bringing you closer.
Welcome back to the point of view. I have some interesting comments on the KNUST issue, but I feel I want Ace to settle on the legal issue. So you're saying there is no clarity. Two things. We don't have a single policy document on tertiary education. And then there isn't clarity about appointments of council and chancellors across. There's a uniformity. It's a bit of confusion. And the tech matter is even weird because we have CDRs and all these people.
CDRs still on it. Now, but what then happened? I suspect what happened was that when the problem emerged, government's default position was that we are government. We should be able to do this.
Okay.
And I also suspect, and from my interaction with certain government people, that the law they were looking at didn't have the crab reforms. So they still had appointed by the PNDC. If it is appointed by government, then under Article 279, government has the power to remove them. But here is an instance where that power was deliberately taken away, adopted by the crab reforms, adopted by Parliament, and has become part of Ghana law. But if we had a national policy document out of which all of these sprang, there would have been a certain uniformity on which government could have fallen. But let's even say government had the power to dissolve. The subsequent appointments were a bit worrying. You said that
the so-called IMC,
the interim, and one of the mandates was to take charge to govern the affairs of the university from day to day. That is not their duty.
Councils don't run universities on day to day.
It's a vice chancellor who does that. He's the chief executive. Yeah. The council is like the board of directors. They are the policy and they have the ultimate responsibility.
And the IMC didn't have the vice chancellor's name.
Well, I'll come to that. So the government then purported to appoint a chairman of council. No, under the KNUST law, you don't appoint. It's the chancellor who appoints.
Oh, no.
So you appoint the chancellor for the chancellor to appoint the chairman. You see, but I can understand. Wow. It's based on the fact that we have all of these laws, and if you are not careful, you pick one, and you think applies to all of them.
So you're not surprised that they made that mistake because it's not as if it's clear.
The first one, the dissolution made, but the second parts of it, the appointment of the chairperson, the appointment of people without consulting the constituent bodies.
Because you can't even have a council without VC.
And if you say you have dissolved it, you can't bring the people who were former reps on the dissolved council onto it without consulting
the people that appoint, put them, nominated
because
them.
Effectively, if you have the power to terminate, then you have terminated them. They ought to bring new people.
This was very confused.
That's where we are now.
I can wind up quickly.
Wow.
So the problem we have is that so there's a situation which ought to be resolved, and I can understand where it evolved from. And as you can see, this is I'm trying to balance the issue. But in the face, and also keeping UTAG and others on and hurriedly bringing them back.
That was very interesting.
You flying the president of SRC to swear him in, who voted him from SRC to become the rep on the thing. He was. You removed him effectively by
dissolving
old council. Then you decide that okay, out of the whole 30,000, we choose you.
And then
to come.
Then you bring UTAG and somebody else to join.
It is clearly undemocratic for a situation where it's in a democracy, where the law says that this institution shall have representatives. For another entity which has representatives, to decide that we reserve ourselves.
I like the background that he gave.
Yeah.
In the midst of all those, you could understand how this confusion can happen.
Yes, I can understand that.
But going forward, the most important thing is
that the MPP is a party of lawyers.
Let's also talk about UTAG. Let's also talk about
Honestly, why was there so much confusion in government's responses? It didn't seem very coordinated. Based on what he said, it appeared, it was even today, there were three press conferences.
To begin with.
Today's press statement.
Now, to begin with, this idea of the tertiary education policy and the uniform statutes, these are issues that we have deliberated upon and talked about in terms of how do you really streamline this thing. Because there's so much confusion. And unless we take advantage of this opportunity to really move forward in a very coordinated fashion to make sure that if you are thinking about Legon, you are also the status of Legon, KNUST, and all these are in alignment. And it doesn't have to take you all this time to research. You see, it really doesn't have to take an Isankuma to really break this down. It should be somebody, as an education, you're sitting there, you take the document, it's so easy to implement and so easy to run. So I understand where the confusion, a whole lot of things came from. But the bottom line, though, is where we are today. And the willingness of government to move forward and make sure that, just as
but how sure are we that what we have decided to do is also legal?
No, I mean, the bottom line is this. I mean,
is it because they say council, the Otunfo, who is the chancellor, is going to
resolve the
reconstitute.
Resolve the issue.
I just want to be clear. Is there a reconstitution of old council or appointment of a new council?
We don't know yet. The sweetness of the pudding will be in the eating.
But we should know now.
Let's see what the Otunfo is going to meet all of them. And let's see what the results will be. Because the question is whether we simply say this was an illegality, let's erase it. I don't expect government to admit that. I think that in the midst of all of this, the Otunfo will show certain wisdom, certain, the language. And I hope that we get back to
So let me just understand. Are you saying that whatever Otunfo decides is final? So if Otunfo says the decision you resolve, the council you dissolve, he will reinstate them, you agree?
You talk about democratic dispensation and then you are saying somebody can just say...
No, so I'm asking. So what's Otunfo supposed to do?
He's the chancellor. You see, these are the issues. When we stayed back, they'll say you guys were aloof.
Okay.
You did not jump in and see what carnage your inaction has caused, right? Now, what we are saying is that allow the institutions and the statutes to work. Otunfo is the chancellor. He should just facilitate the process.
But starting from where? Starting from pre-dissolution or mid-dissolution? He has to. Where is he starting?
Post-dissolution.
So he's starting from IMC. He has an IMC.
Now, as it is as of now, until Friday, when the Reconstituting Council is in session, it's the IMC that is there.
Okay.
If any emergency happens now,
they will solve it.
They will solve it. But we know their time is almost has run out. Friday, a new council is in place. But as we said, Otunfo is the chancellor. The government has asked him to spearhead the effort and take us to the destination that we want. All that we want it's not so much about anybody in government. It's about how can we get to that destination, and then take advantage of what has happened, and then begin to look at the law. As a lawmaker, I'm really ashamed to know that we could have done something better. And so, I think it's a great opportunity.
What is UTAG expecting when Otumfuo sits on this matter?
Well, I mean, as he rightly indicated, I mean, he's a chancellor. We are expecting that, given who he is, he will bring his experience to bear, and then reconcile all the factions, ensure that the council is well formed, so that they can take charge. Because see, that is where we had issues. You could not have a council doing the day-to-day running of the institution, when indeed you had a certain vice chancellor, and we did not even know what was even happening to him. So that is where we had issues. So it's heartwarming that now at least we have some clarity that the council is going to come.
So sorry, so I'm looking at, is Otumfuo arbitrating? Is he mediating?
No.
Or is he adjudicating?
He's performing his role as
a
chancellor.
So he's showing the way.
Of the university.
But in this specific case of where we are, what is he doing? In terms of, you see, I'm asking this importantly, is he resolving differences, or is he...
I mean, all the above.
Is it?
All the above.
I'm not a lawyer, but if you say somebody is sitting as counsel...
In your capacity as a chancellor, you do all the above. I mean, let's face this. None of us should be proud of what happened at Tech. Absolutely. None of us. Let me tell you, even if you are running a high school, there's a way to communicate with students.
Yes. To
get them to love you and respect you, even when you are really giving them something better to swallow.
Okay.
Something went wrong. And outside of the legalities and something went wrong.
Yeah.
When you have KNUST, the situation where it was, something went wrong. So I think we all have to take a deep breath and know that something went wrong.
Yes.
And now we have to take steps to ensure that we rectify what went wrong.
So Otumfuo is resolving everything.
Yes.
Yeah, and Bernard, it works. It works. I think that there's so much of a mess that you need somebody who everybody respects to, as they say, put his foot on the matter and resolve it. That's why I said let's determine the sweetness of this pudding when we eat it. Because you see, in the midst of all of this, then the National Council for Tertiary Education jumped in. With which remit? Under the law, they are only advisory. They may publish something and make some recommendations. This doesn't even fall under their residual power. Who are they to give directives to any you know? And the question is that if I ask this question, people say, "Oh, but they are the National Council," but the law doesn't give them the power. But so that's why the Otumfuo is a perfect person to come in there, work through the
both
maze,
traditionally and legally.
work through the maze
until we do amendment of the statutes and everything. That's the
ultimately. So we'll get back to that. You know when I found out about this, a young lady I know was doing a writing on national tertiary education in Ghana, and said that we had no policy document. I said that's not possible. You know. So we went to the solution and found out that there's no single policy. So going forward, this is what to resolve. Also, we need to talk about UTAG. I mean, UTAG, we understand the anger and everything, but your strike was illegal.
No,
why was it illegal?
Of course. I'll explain to you. No, wait, let me explain.
He's the lawyer. Let me talk.
No.
Is it
the premise is wrong.
Okay.
UTAG never went on strike.
You withdrew your services.
UTAG did not go on strike.
What did you do?
What UTAG indicated was that they were going to withdraw their teaching service. Teaching service.
But you said you withdrew.
I'll explain.
Yes. But they have other services
we are employed to do other things.
May I explain?
Yes, please go ahead. Then I would come in.
The legal definition of a strike.
Yes.
Okay. In the law.
Yes.
Unfortunately, that's the problem. I only think that way.
That's fine.
That's the only way I can think. I'm
Yes.
one child. A strike means an action by two or more workers acting in concert, and which is intended by them to restrict in any way the service they normally provide to the employer, or diminish the output of the service with a view to applying coercive pressure upon the employer. And it includes sympathy strike and those activities commonly called work to rule, a go slow, and a sit-down strike.
Okay.
So if you're going to withdraw some part of your services, the Labour Act, Article 51. This is Ghana law. Okay. Now you see, and it is also illegal because a strike, properly defined, is an action you take against your employer. The government is not your employer.
Who is the employer?
The employer is a university. By law, the investee is a separate legal entity.
Yes, the council is our employer.
Yes,
that is right. The investee is our employer. Good.
Now, a strike must first be against your employer. And the only way cross industrial strike is allowed is when there's a sympathy strike. You have people in here who also be...
But it's a public institution, which is government subvented. Can that not be construed?
If we don't learn to separate the bodies, we'll keep on making this.
But if the government has dissolved council, and
government... This is one of the problems why Ghana is where it is.
I'm just asking. Yeah, so you're saying that we should... So they can't have a strike against a government?
No. You can take legal action, you can go to court, you can say... But if a strike properly defined, it's an action against your employer. And so if the government is not your employer, but it is the government might... Look, the government gives subventions to the investee, and the investee pays you. The government doesn't pay you directly. So if Ghana never understands the separation of the legal entities, and if we keep smudging them together, we will continue to have this problem. And so, yes, I understand your anger. I've been an academic. I understand the invasion of academic freedom. But we who call ourselves academics must also sometimes just take a little pause and see. For example, you went picketing, right?
Today was.
But today was.
That was not UTAC.
That was not UTAC.
Fine.
And administrators.
Okay, two and administrators.
No, administrators were not picketing.
Just two. It doesn't matter who.
But you disagree with two?
No, wait. No, by law, you can't picket within a certain... Your picketing must be within a certain space from your employer. You can't picket on the employer.
Yes,
no, wait. If we never... Then let's throw these laws away.
No, I'm just asking.
No, this is the law. You see, so first and foremost, what you announce you're going to do, it's a strike by law. Two, the picketing itself was illegal. But like I said, I understand your problem, and I can understand your problem too. That is why the Otumfuo has put his foot on this.
Wow.
He's going to call all of you, pull your ears in the room that nobody will hear.
You don't seem happy with this point.
No, they won't be. It is the legal explanation. But we've been in this country, and there are precedents. You see, this evening we don't want to go into all that, but there have a lot of precedents where people have chosen even the legal way, and it ended very, very negative. Yes. Right? So if we if we all want to do the right thing, let the politician do the right thing.
I agree.
Let everybody do the right thing. Then the teachers, then we may not have to resort to strike in resolving issues.
But that justification is
where I wanted him to finish that point.
Where we go the wrong way. I sat here, he made some, and I understood. This is where we went wrong. But to just justify that because the politician did not do it right, I also do it.
But it looks like your wrongs were more than their own. They only went on strike. But you dissolve council legally. Form an ANC doesn't exist.
To me, the good news is where we are heading.
Where we are going.
Where we are going.
But have you accepted from your mistakes?
No, where we are going.
You did three fundamental mistakes. You did three mistakes.
When Ace is doing exposition, who am I?
I also understand the difficulty of government in coming out to say that. Of course, like I said, so many wrongs have been committed, and I don't think that at this table we are interested in who did A, B, C, but the general understanding is that things went wrong. I mean, students went on demonstration. There was some level of high-handedness on the part of management.
Absolutely.
Government went wrong in terms of some of the steps they took and all that.
Trying to salvage.
Well, that again, you have behind that, behind all that.
So management went wrong.
Yes,
students went wrong.
Retired went on illegal strike.
Teachers went
wrong. Administrators not entirely.
That's why the Otumfuo has to put his foot on
it means this Otumfuo thing has become like World Cup.
Pull your ears in the room and tell you that all of you next time don't base your mistakes on another person.
I'll read some comment, but you seem to be saying that once we've given this to Otumfuo, he will resolve it. But should we not, because of the precedent of mistakes we've made, also point out certain remedies that he has to work with?
I absolutely agree. I fully expect that Otumfuo will act with some of the best legal advice possible. And as he charts the path and brings peace, it will comply with the law. Otumfuo will not break the law. I do not think so. I hope not.
I hope they read the statement you issued today, because your statement was very legally loaded.
Nobody liked us after that statement. I think for almost the first time in quite a while, I got a subtle threat.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah,
From some people?
Yeah.
Oh, but they don't know who you are. That's why they are threatening you. Let me read some comments. So much confusion. Why can't we have one policy to govern our investors? I'll ask the Deputy Minister that. Hakeem, final year student, KNUST. I'm very happy that our listening president has finally listened to the UTAC for the VC to be reinstated. This is his understanding. The VC, Professor Obridan, so is a role model to many of us on campus with his ability to display meekness without weakness in leadership. This is Hakeem. The VC is the one to blame. If he had not converted Katanga Hall to a mixed hall, all these disturbances and vandalism of property wouldn't have occurred. This is Peter from McCarthy Hill. Dr. Dade from Kumasi. Congrats, Ben. The government needs to tackle the issue devoid of politics. I hate the way this KNUST issue is turning into NDC MPP. My regards to my fellow Abrant here, Dr. Educhum. Okay, so he went to Kumasi High.
Yes.
Rich Kofi 2. Government acted in bad faith when it realized it could not maneuver its way, taking off the VC as done in the UEW. They had to give way for the right thing to be done. Kanketi Otunfor. It's great UTAC did not bow this time to government abuse of power. Good evening, Bernard. Congratulations on your award. I hope the Asantini's involvement in reconstituting the governing council will restore Kama KNUST. My greetings to Esankuma. I am Kwamena Okun of Obrumankoma FM Mankesim. Okay. Bernard, what did Otunfor and the president do about the petition that was submitted to them? They could have prevented this braha from happening in the first place. Hey, you're not afraid to criticize political culture. I'm George from Gon. I'm not happy with the way government is handling the issue of KNUST. All right, Doc, so let's just be clear on something. You don't have a policy you're working with. You are expecting that when Otunfor meets on Thursday, everything will be resolved. I'll find out from you how you intend to make sure those laws are brought to bear. And I'll also ask Ace to give us a few legal guidelines to advise all of us on what to proceed with. This is the point of view. Don't go away.
Ever thought about where you'd really want to live or invest? Is it beautiful, modern, and sustainable? Is the architecture advanced with state-of-the-art facilities? What if I told you you could find it only 15 minutes away from Adenta? When your hard work pays off, you need to invest in the right place. High-quality real estate appreciates in value. But the value is not just your home. It is also the area that surrounds it. Good roads with safe speed limits, drainage for even the most punishing floods, and neighborhood planning that ensures your view will never change. You can also invest in the commercial, social, and mixed business spaces, as well as Apollonia Business Park. It's time to make your move to Apollonia City. Call or visit us today. Our payment plans are tailored for you. Visit www.apollonia.com.gh or call 0275 577 577.
You're in tune to the Breakfast Daily on City TV. Stoneboy says so. Keep it locked. Don't log off.
We spice up your mornings with culturally enriched conversations, social interviews, and policy-oriented discussions that will keep you updated on the progress of the nation.
And that is the reason I was making the point to him that I refrained from responding to this Joyce Bauer statement. Because if some citizens have accused President Mahama of diverting a certain amount of money, deal with that, deny him, and move on with your life.
Join the Breakfast Daily team Monday through Fridays from 7:30 a.m. to 10. Let your voice be heard with the hashtag Breakfast Daily. Join us for Breakfast Daily, only on City TV.
Welcome back. This is the point of view. My guest, Dr. Osaya Educhum, Deputy Minister for Education and Member of Parliament for Bosomtwe. Isan Nankoma is a private legal practitioner. And we also have the General Secretary of UTAC, Dr. Samuel Buedikusi, who is here. So it's clear that not all the issues are resolved, but we are told Otunfor is going to meet on Thursday. I really need you to help us. What you don't want to advise Otunfor in the open. That's not how you do it. But because of all the legal mistakes we've made, you see, because I don't want to invite you back here next week. After the Thursday, we haven't resolved the issues.
I'm only here because you go on the award.
So I just want to be clear on something. give me one or two things we should be minded of ahead of that meeting.
Basically, I expect that the council will go back to its work. The government has the right to re-nominate its people, to reappoint its people. I expect the council will go back to its work. It didn't leave a problem. Are they going to serve the remainder of the 2-year term, or is this a fresh mandate? The situation is murkier than we even present it to be, but I expect that when the Tumfor sits down, he will have all of this advice available to him so he can, mold and chart the path forward. I expect that one of the critical issues that led to this is the absence of a single policy document. And I understand the ministry is doing it. I think we need to take the relevant people, lock them in a room for a week, and so that it's only when they're done that they'll be allowed to come out of it. We need that
policy must be done.
There's a need for harmonization of the law. We need to have a debate. In an instance when we think that the presidency is too powerful, we want an instance where the president still has all the power to appoint, or do we want to devolve from it? These are policy things that we need to think about. But I am confident that what the Tumfor does will shine a light into where the
I thought Tumfor was just ceremonial, chancellor.
But the chancellor is not ceremonial. The chancellor is actually if you look at the structure, the chancellor is the highest person in the university. Everybody falls.
Just to ask, are you clear about the status of Dr. Professor Brie, the VC? Because somebody whose message I read said they thank you for reinstating the VC, and I saw your face change.
Can you read?
Have you reinstated him? I'm not sure what's happening.
His reinstatement will happen as soon as the reconstitution happens.
Okay.
In the interim, just to make sure that there's one single person you can hold accountable or lead for the pro vice chancellor.
Okay.
On Friday, when the reconstitution happens, VC comes back. It is then left to the council to do whatever they have to do to bring normalcy to the university council.
So VC comes back with a reconstituted council.
Yes. The VC is, if you look at the act, the only person whose position is mentioned on the council. The rest of them is rep.
He's ex officio.
It doesn't say.
So Professor Obri, is that his name?
Yeah, Breeders.
He will be back.
The position is mentioned. So
he will be back by Friday. But then the other people on the council, we are not sure until Tumfor's decision.
Of course, we've appealed, they've discussed. The positions are still there.
But the personalities,
the government rep, but we don't know who those people are.
And as you do that, check the law. Why is the Pro VC not on the council?
And this applies to all universities?
I think for a fair bit of them. So we need,
but I think the Pro VC is he's not a member. He's sits in meetings. He's not been mentioned. He's not been mentioned as a official.
How much will it cost for you to put all the laws together? So government will just pay.
Harmonization should happen, and I think my minister has spoken about that. Harmonization should happen.
It must happen.
So you are also clear that Obri Danso is back on Friday?
Very clear. We are very clear on that.
Was that one of your demands?
It was, in fact, it was one of our issues.
But it wasn't.
Why were you so concerned about his removal?
Well, you see, apart from, I think the impression was that we were defending our own, but that was not. You see, we were worried about the precedents that we were going to set, because over the years, a lot of these things have been linked with political interference. Some would say intervention and all that. So we were worried about the precedents we were setting. And of course, we were clear in our minds that we needed the governing council to be there and not the IMC, which of course is even not found in our status. But of course, under the circumstance, government will always justify that was needed. So we were worried about the precedent that we're going to set in this country going forward. So I think that he coming back, of course, with all the other people who are mentioned within the status, will fulfill that the council is well constituted. Then the council can now deal with all the issues. So,
and let me add something that often riles and unsettles people. The principle from the Constitution is that it is he who hires who fires.
Okay.
It is he or she who hires who fires. If you look at the statutes, who hires the VC is the council.
The council.
So, respectfully, neither the government nor NCT has the power to remove the VC. If the VC is wrong, the council must take the action against it. That is why the council is made up of various people, so that they can't be whipped by one person. So the council has the power to do it. So the removal of the VC from office, if his term hasn't expired, is reserved to the council. And so we all need to respect those basic rules, and I think things will work out. If the VC is really behaving in a manner that is improper, I think the council is tasked by Ghanaians to deal with it. They are the disciplinary authority. And our tax, you're right, our taxes look after the investor. You know, so there are things to learn from all of this. And you know, people have a problem. How can you say that the president cannot fire somebody? Well, guess what? The laws changed when we entered under the constitution, and the Edim Odom case, where the president sought to discipline a civil servant. The civil servant went to court, and the judges gave the president a lecture in constitutional law. They told the then president, Mr. President, you don't have the power.
Let me end with a final message. Good evening, Bernard. Congrats. Didn't government know Otunfo was alive when they tried to resolve the issue? It is the inconsistent nature of the investing policy that led to this problem. Government is also repeating some. Thank you very much for being on the show. It's been a long day, Dr. Educhum. Let's hope education doesn't continue making negative news. It makes positive news.
Education has made some very positive news.
How is double track?
Double track is doing very well. You see, when there's no noise, it means things are going well.
Green and gold. So double track is going well.
Of course.
Okay, green is good. Gold is waiting.
Excellent.
Good one. So Dr. Osei Educhum, an educationist, parliamentarian of Ebusomtwe, and Deputy Minister for Education, our guest is an private legal practitioner, member of Occupied Ghana, and Dr. Samuel Bet Bwedukusi, General Secretary UTAG. UTAG went to UCC, Ace went to Legon, and Educhum went to Tech, and I also went to Legon. So Legon is in a comfortable league. Thank you for watching. My name is Bernard Avle. Please stay with City TV. Good night.